Okay, how we doing out there, brothers and sisters? Welcome back to the Black Revolution podcast. I am your host and commander-in-chief, Steve, and thanks for coming back for this episode. So, brothers and sisters, I come here tonight to speak with you about our dearly departed brother, Nolan Wells, and his family. There's a lot going on, man. A lot going on, and mainly right now, I'm speaking to the black community. I'm speaking to the black community first and foremost right now. And I want you guys to understand something, all right? I want you black community to understand something. We don't have any friends, okay? We as a people, we don't have too many friends. I can really say that with certainty in my heart. And the reason why I can say that, the reason why I can say that with certainty in my heart is because, like I told you in the last video, I'm a very good listener to people. I'm also a man who studies history. I love reading about history, all types of history, right? One thing's for sure, two things are for certain. Jesus Christ said in the Bible, these are the recorded words of Christ, they say. He said about people, he compared them to trees, green trees. He said a good tree will yield good fruit, but an evil tree will only yield evil fruit. Now, with that in mind, looking at the Nolan Wells case, I'm on TikTok constantly. I'm on other platforms constantly listening to people speak about the Nolan Wells case. And they are good. I have to go back to the issue of racism. That comes up. It plays a part. And I'm hearing a lot of the white people speak about Nolan Wells. A sprinkling of black people too that probably need to wake up. You go back to sleep and wake up off your bed the right way. So a lot of the white folks are saying, oh man, just an accident. He drowned, man. Like, what's the big deal? He just drowned. And you can throw in their face logical reasoning for you to say, well, we don't know that just yet. How can you stamp drowning on this young man before you do a correct autopsy like the sheriff did in Mississippi, in Jackson County? Accidental drowning before you do a single autopsy. Oh man, he just drowned. Happens every year, man. Happens every year. We'll say, well, how do you know that? You cannot produce a suspect for me or someone who will say something about something that looks suspicious to know that may have happened to Nolan on the island before he passed. You can't produce one person that says, I saw so and so and so and so over here. But you're so quick to want to accept the drowning. He just drowned. And just very nonchalantly. And then the second thing is the poor grieving mother and father, Christine and her husband. Shame on you guys that are sending threats to these people. Shame on you guys that are trying to get her fired from her job. Shame on you. You will know them by their works. You will know the tree by its fruit, meaning you will know the person by what he or she does. These are very evil people. Evil. How can you take the life of an 18-year-old and just quickly assign him to drowning, accidental drowning, without facts, without information? How can you call a grieving mother at her home or whatever, however you got in contact with her, and send her death threats and messages and calling these people all kinds of names, all because they want to know what happened to their child on July 4th? How can you? You will know the tree by its fruit. Remember that, brothers and sisters. The tree said Christ, is known by its fruit. The person is known by their works, what they do and what comes out of their mouth. That's how you know who they are. These are devils, man. These are demons. Very racist, nasty, Ku Klux Klan demons is what they are. That's sending these messages to Nolan Wells' moms. And it can only be racist whites that's doing this. Not all whites are racist. We know that. But it can only be the racist ones that would do this. You see, they remind me of the Legion of the White Knights, the clan, that clan order. They remind me of that. That was stationed down there in Mississippi. And then so many people are saying, including a sprinkling of stupid blacks, race has nothing to do with it. Why do we have to bring up race? My man, first of all, we have to bring up race because you got to look at the history of Mississippi. Look at Ida B. Wells. Look at Medgar Evers. Look at Emmett Till. Look at the Vicksburg riots. So many, 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 many more. The young girl they just now found hanging by her neck in a building. And then you want to ascribe that to suicide, knowing good and well, ain't no black person in their right mind in Mississippi, if they did want to unalive themselves, is going to do it with a noose, because they know the history of the noose. So they're just throwing insult on top of injury. So someone said, man, racism is gone. That's the old Mississippi. It's gone. Everything down here is beautiful. And I stand to contradict you, because if you're telling me that racism is gone and everything's hunky-dory and beautiful, then guess what? We would not have those people calling Mrs. Wansley as she's grieving, threatening her. We would not have those people sending things to her job, trying to get her fired from her job. And it's not nobody that's black doing this. No. We have no reason to think that is a black person doing it, because everybody's talking about zeroing in on Nolan Wells' friends. He's one of the few black people out there with a bunch of whites in Mississippi. So it can only be white folks that are doing this. Racist white folks that are doing this. So your narrative, the narrative about racism is gone out of Mississippi, you can throw that out of the window, because they're still calling this woman, harassing her, trying to go to her job, make her look bad so she can lose her job. She just lost her son. What kind of a monster are you? You see, this is what those KKK boys used to do, the Klan. When they wanted to stop us from voting in Mississippi and Alabama and other places, they would come in the middle of the night and they would take bottles with gasoline in them or whatever was in there and stick a piece of sheet, light it up, get it on fire and throw it through the windows, put our houses on fire to scare us away from the voting polls. You understand? This is what the KKK used to do. And whoever is calling Mrs. Wansley with these threats, your actions are very reminiscent of the KKK in 2026. And now I want to say something to you, my black people. Some of us ain't that bright. You know what I mean? Like, some of us, we need to sharpen our blade, because it hurts me to see that you people are on these panels. When you hear these YT people or white folks speaking so nonchalantly about the case and just speaking like, oh, just happy, just disregard for that child's life. When I hear that and you're in those panels agreeing with them, I just hope, I don't know what the words are that I want to say to you, but I do hope that one day you'll wake up. You'll wake up. The only way you're going to wake up is to read history. That's it, man. That's it. Go study the history of Mississippi. Please. Go pick up a book. Put it in Amazon. Put black oppression, killing of black people in Mississippi. Put it on there. You'll see plenty of books. Come 1, 2, 3. I just bought a book called the freedom something. Well, it's about the Mississippi burning. Don't forget about that. So the Mississippi Burn, I just bought that book. I'm going to be reading that book and trying to get a better understanding and just keep compounding my knowledge. And this is what every person of color, black people, especially you guys that are saying, well, race is not a problem. We're in 2026 now. Man, listen, if race was not a problem, you wouldn't have those people calling that poor woman while she's grieving over her son who just vanished with no explanation whatsoever. You wouldn't be doing that. You have to be someone who has been radicalized by racist teachings against black people. You have to be someone that's still carrying the torch for your forefathers that were a part of the Klan and still racist till this day. But like Farrakhan says, you're just a lot wiser now. You know how to hide yourself. And then if you want to say racism was gone, well, I say go take a look at what we just had happen in Washington. All those white men with the T-shirts tied over their head, carrying American flags, but also carrying the Confederate flag. And if you know an iota of history, this that much, you know what the Confederate flag is all about. See how they rode the train, stormed the Capitol, stormed the Washington White House and all that stuff? What do you think that was about? You know what it was about? It was about what I was trying to warn us about 5-6 years ago when I first got on this internet. And my podcast was called the Hierophant Podcast. And I used to tell people certain elements in this country are trying to re-enslave black people. I used to say that 5-6 years ago. Why? Because I had the insight to say it. Because I study history. I'm not a genius, right? But I study it. I see the pattern. I know these patterns, man. So when I got up here and I'm starting to tell my people, yo, XYZ, you run into fools from among us, idiots. It's a shame. It's a shame. And I do truly believe it's unfortunate and sad, but we have to do like Jesus says again. He gave some very good advice about the community, about the vile parts of our community, parts that are hurting, parts of the community that are hurting the community, meaning people that hurt the community, the body of black people. He said, if your right hand offendeth thee, cut it off. Get you a sword, a chop, a knife, whatever, axe, cut it off and cast it from you. Because it is better for you to be without your right hand than it is for you to keep it on you, and it defiles the rest of your body. He said, if your right eye offendeth thee, pluck it out. For it is better for you to cast it from thee than to keep it among you and allow it to defile the rest of the body. What did he mean? He meant those wayward, ignorant, stupid fools from among us that still want to be running around out here acting like gangsters and shooting up the place and oppressing the people in the neighborhood, children, babies getting unalived and killed in the midst of all of this. This is all the stuff I used to talk about. And I said, guys, you got to slow down because they're going to be trying to do some things that's going to F us up. It's going to put us back in time, pushing us closer to slavery. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, man. No, that ain't going to happen. And then you had these ignorant dumbasses coming at me, all kind of stupid-ish, right? So, but now let's look at today. Where are we today? Our people in Mississippi are being unalived or murdered at such a rate that I see now. Is there a serial killer in Mississippi? Is there a serial killer? So many murders of our people happening down there. Is there a serial killer? If you ask me, it's the white knights of the KKK. I don't even worry about no serial killer. And then let me return to the theme that, there's no more racism, especially in Mississippi. No, none of that. Racism is gone. I will agree with the people that the South is a much better place today than it was, say, 30 years ago. Because I used to live down here in the South 30 years ago. And I know the difference. It's much better. But is racism not gone? No. For those of you who want to preach that nonsense that racism is not gone, I will prove you wrong again. Let's go back and let's revisit Dylan Roof, South Carolina. Dylan Roof was a man who went into a church in South Carolina, and he befriended the black people, black church. And the loving people that we are, our hearts are so loving. We opened the doors to him and come on in, and we hold hands and we prayed and we trusted him. He got us to trust him to whereas we couldn't see nothing, no wrong he could do. And then one day, Dylan Roof went in that church and murdered eight people that he came in as a friend and prayed with to the Lord God. Came in like a devil. He was so deceptive that he had a close friend. I forgot the friend's name, but he had the blonde dreads or braids, whatever. And they interviewed the friend and he said, well, Dylan is still my friend. If he was let go today, I would still be friends with him. He's my best friend. This is how manipulative Satan is. See? I'm not calling all white people Satan, but another prophet named Muhammad, peace be on him, he said Satan flows through the body, like blood through the veins. Satan flows through the body like blood through the veins. That can happen to any one of us. Huh? So Satan was in him. But how did Dylan Roof become the monster he became? And what led him to go and perform such atrocity on that day? The answer is very simple, very easy to understand. Dylan Roof was radicalized online. He founded an online site where racist white supremacists were pronouncing all of their belief systems and teachings. And he imbibed that stuff. He drank it down like a soda. And it turned him into something very evil. And it is because that racism survived that they put this online thing up, and that he got his hands on it, was able to be to find that website and take all of that garbage off of there. That was just a few years ago, right? Number two, I forgot this guy's name, but you'll remember when I tell you. Upstate New York, Syracuse, I believe. Another white teen or young adult goes to the store, buys tactical gear. He goes up in Syracuse like John Rambo, goes inside a supermarket and unalives every black thing he can. In fact, he leaves one white person alive so they can tell the story. His intentions were to leave that supermarket, get back in his truck or car, and go to another one and unalive some more black people. He was stopped in the midst of it. What happened to him? He was radicalized online. Another white supremacist internet site that he loved to be on, and he took in that stuff, he imbibed it, and it became him. And it motivated him, it drove him, it prodded him to do these evil deeds. So for those of the white people or black people, any other people that want to sell the idea that racism is gone in America, man, look, you ain't going to tell all of us that, especially me. I'm not asleep. Okay, I'm not asleep. I'm from the older generation. I'm over half a century years old. Okay, so you can't sell me that nonsense. And the only way you can do that is you can brainwash the younger kids. But we're going to fix that. We're going to fix that, because this is what this podcast is about, this Black Revolution podcast. We're going to be dealing with history. I'm going to be suggesting books for you to buy. I want the youth, the old, everybody to flock to this channel. Because I think now that things are getting so bad that people are waking up, even the youth now. appear to be waking up. And when that happens, we are going to learn the things we need to learn, and we're going to move accordingly. I'm not saying we're going to attack anybody. Hence, the title of my podcast is the Black Revolution Podcast. But the revolution that I'm talking about is not the one where we go out and get aggressive with the fist and the sword and the gun. No, the revolution I'm talking about has to take place here first. See, in the mind of our people. This is where the revolution has to take place. Now, look, there are. Well, let me start this part of this segment like this. Officer Tatum has interviewed these three boys again, Warren and the other two friends. And I noticed something very important between his first interview with them and this last one here. I caught something. In the first interview, Warren said to Officer Tatum, you see here, look, Nolan said he was staying out with that girl, and Officer Tatum said, Katie, yeah, Katie, we know her. She texts some of my guys about Nolan. She texted all of us. He knew her. They know her. If you visit Nancy Grace's Crime Scene podcast, she had two lawyers there for the boys. And in that podcast, it was presented to that they said the boys didn't know this Katie girl. They didn't know her. Another conflicting understanding. The first conflict is the boys said, Nolan, get on the boat. Nolan said, no, I'm going to stay out here. The girls, he said, staying out with the girl. The girl, they asked her, they questioned her. Nolan stayed with you? No. He told me he was going to go back and get on the boat with his friends. The conflict. So now that they have said that these boys didn't know Katie, the lawyers are saying that. The boys said they do know Katie. She texted all of us. And if she texts us so many different people, means she had to be around you for a while. If she's only dealing with Nolan should have been the only one that had her number. Instead, there's a group of you. She texts my friends, my guys, my this, my that. So you know her. No reason for the lawyer to say on Nancy Grace you don't know her. So what it means is that in my mind, and there's a very tough sister on TikTok. I don't know if she wants to be announced, so I won't say her name. But this sister is like a hawk, man. I go sit on her page and she got about 3-4 machines sitting up there. Just information everywhere, spilling in. She's calculating. She's putting 2 and 2 together. This sister is awesome, man. And she picked it up. She said, you know what? She yelled out on her platform, hey, Katie, watch out, Katie, girl. They get ready to try to put all of this on you. And I said, wow, she's right. That's what it looked like, because nobody's stupid, right? From what we have gathered of information, the most important parts for me, and I think the rest of everybody else, is that the boys who Nolan went out with, his best friends, they said, come on, Nolan, get on the boat. Nolan says, no, I'm going to stay with Katie. We do an investigation on Katie. Nolan said he's staying with you. No, that's not true. Last time I seen Nolan, he told me he was going to be with the boys. There's a conflict there. Contradictory conflict. And if the DA in Mississippi, when it goes to the courtroom, if they are, how do you say, cognizant, if they are intelligent enough, this would be the point where I would bring up a criminal a criminal charge right then and there. Two groups saying that he was with you last. No, he's with you last. With you last. Somebody got to be lying about something. So I think that the lawyers of these boys know that people are going to say that. They're going to say this is the point of contention. Well, since these are the two last people that saw the man alive, let's get some charges here. I think he is now preparing those boys to shoot Katie down. Blame it all on Katie. Dump it on Katie. That's what it's looking like. I'm not a inside dude, but from what I can see on the internet, that could be the only thing plausible, is that the boys are going to try and dump it all on Katie. What indicates that to me? Yeah, Katie, she texts my friends, my guys, and about Nolan. Yeah, they know her. More than one or two of his friends were texted by Katie. So it's not that they're just meeting her for the first time. They don't know her and it's all about her and Nolan. No, he says out of his mouth, she texts a couple of my friends, my guys. Lawyer gets on the thing, said, no, they don't know Katie. And then he got on Officer Tatum, and because he realized the mistake that he made, he said, no. What it is, they had just met. So you know how it is. They gave out numbers and all of this stuff. Had to clean it up. So this is where we are in the Nolan Wells case. And if the prosecutor, the district attorney, when it goes in front of a grand jury, I think the grand jury, this would be the point. This would be the reason that they would bring up a criminal charge, if at all, or find anybody liable for the death of Nolan Wells. So another point to talk about is that people are trying to sue Crump and Sharpton. They're trying to sue Benjamin Crump and Sharpton because they're claiming that what they have been doing is defaming these boys, which they are not. All they said is if the man went out with his friends and the friends came back and he didn't, and the friends have no explanation, wouldn't you want the truth? If you guys know something, give us the truth. He didn't point the finger and say, I know y'all did it. Only thing they are saying, this is Mississippi. It's racist Mississippi. What the hell? Anybody in a good mind knows the history of Mississippi. And you got a black boy goes out with all these white folk. The first thing is going to come to your mind, even if subconsciously, something racist happened. Why? Look at the history. Oh, wait a minute, Steve. No. See, we're without racism down here. This is a new Mississippi. Really? Why they calling Mrs. Wansley and her husband in the middle of the night, threatening her just because she wants to know what's wrong, what went wrong on that day to cause her son to lose his life? Why do they go further and go to the job and try to put a bad rap on her nursing career so that she can't make any more money? People won't mess with her. Why? If the racism is gone, why are they doing this? That's evil. That's evil. That is very, very evil, man. And I'm here talking about Nolan Wells because I know Nolan Wells was a decent kid. He wasn't no fuck up, no piece of shit that's running around, don't want to be shit with his life and doing dumb shit in the street to get his ass sent away up the river 100 years. That wasn't Nolan. Everybody that I've heard talk about Nolan has said he was a great person. Friendly. He didn't like evil. He tried to make amends between people. If he saw something going on, a fight or what have you, and we saw that in videos, he would rush in to try and bring the peace. His mother says he's a very God-fearing child. He was getting more into the Lord. Evil don't do that. And he was trying to have a career path. He knew the importance of setting goals. He knew the importance of having an education. He was in the community college. Perhaps he would have got a ride in a D1 school. That could have happened Monday. We'll never know that now. But instead what happened Monday in Mississippi, sadly, instead of Nolan Wells showing up to football game trying to be recognized by D1, his lifeless body washed up on Horn Island. For those who support the drowning, they say a riptide did it. And I learned today, I'm on TikTok and some guys are telling me, see, the riptides are washing machines or washing machine effect. I had never heard of that. Now I'm a man, I was born in Brooklyn, New York. Kings County Hospital. I lived in Crown Heights. Then I moved Marcy Projects. From Marcy, I moved out to Edgemere Projects in Far Rockaway, Queens. From Edgemere Projects, I moved to 17th Street, Far Rockaway, Queens on Seagirt Boulevard. 12517 was my building in Far Rockaway, Queens. I lived on the second floor, apartment right above the entrance downstairs. If I wanted to, I could take a fishing pole and throw it out my window and catch fish. I was right on the water on 17th Street. Now, the reason why I say this is because 17th Street in Far Rockaway off Seagirt Boulevard is the most notorious area for riptides anywhere in Rockaway. Every year almost, you can count it like clockwork, somebody gets taken out from 17th Street and loses their life to a rip current. Facts. I lived in that building for 16 years. I've heard of so many people have lost their lives out there to riptides or jellyfish sting. That's another one that was taking people out. One particular morning, I was heavy into fishing then. I woke up, get my fishing gear, and I head out to the beach. I don't know, about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And the choppers are out. Might have been a little later, but the choppers were out, men in scuba diving gear. And I see some buddies, some guys I know from fishing. I'm like, hey, what happened? 3 girls got caught up in the riptide. So you had an Arab man, I think they say he was from Saudi Arabia, Mecca today. And he came to the United States to visit family, I believe. Somehow they ended up on Rockaway Beach. They wanted to enjoy the beach for the summer. It's great weather. Same thing like the day of Nolan Wells, 4th of July. His 3 girls, while in the water in Rockaway, not knowing the danger of this place, got caught up in the riptide. Took them out. But one thing I noticed about a riptide, to kind of combat this washing machine theory, a riptide that took those girls, one got taken from Rockaway Beach, 17th Street, and body current took her all the way to Coney Island. That's miles and miles away from 17th Street. The other one went the other way, down toward Atlantic Beach and the other beach out there. That's miles and more miles away. I forgot where they found the third one. I say that to say the nature of riptides, from what I know, when they snatch you up from where you are, they never just come and wrench you up back at the same area where you left from. I haven't seen it in out of all my years of living in Rockaway. Every time somebody got caught up in a riptide, it always washed them far away from where the tide took them. So now you got a bunch of people online that want to support a washing machine theory of a riptide that would take Nolan out and then just gently put him back right there. Here you are, right? I'm not saying it can't happen, but I doubt it highly. As a man who lived right on the beach, and I have experienced this year after year after year after year, just don't happen that way. Just doesn't happen that way. And too many people, too many white folks, I don't know what kind of folks they are willing to accept this and a drowning theory and nothing more. And these are the type that I watch, because Jesus said, the tree is known by its fruit. You will know them by their fruit. You will know them by their works, what they do and what they say out of their mouth. Too many are too willing to accept nonchalantly a drowning theory. I've heard people say, oh, he drowned. What's the big deal? Oh, leave his fuck alone. Oh, his ass got drunk and fell down. The fucking tide came out and washed him up. I hear all this type of stuff from these people, man. And now my final message to you, Black people and white. And I can say this, that I am a man who doesn't have a racist bone in his body. I promise you that. I don't have a racist bone in my body. But because of experience, because of me understanding something of history and experience in life, I'm going to say to my Black folk, you in that South, that deep, deep South down there in Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and all these places, man, you guys better walk together. You guys better walk together, man. You should be able down there to get you a concealed carry permit. You can't be fucking up your life, going to jail and getting felonies where you can't even get a license to carry. You need to carry down there. You need to be able to defend yourself. I suggest all of you go on down, get your licenses to carry firearms. And when you don't have a friend with you that can walk side by side with you, you have a one on your hip. You have a friend on your hip. Because unfortunately, this stuff is still happening. It's still happening. People being found hung and shot and abandoned bodies. This is crazy in Mississippi, man. This now, Wisconsin police officer just opened fire and shot and killed a black man. I saw this stuff coming years ago. I saw it coming years ago. And now I want to speak to also the black community. You damn fools that are still out there running around that don't care nothing about this, huh? You gang members, remember? I told you before, you got to get your ish together because they're going to try and re-enslave all of us. Huh? You come at me for speaking against you. Well, I think you need to take a good look at what's happening out here now because your freedom is in jeopardy. I promise you, your freedom is in jeopardy as well as mine. So I think it's time to wake up and stop this bullshit of us hating each other and unaliving and killing each other. It's time we stop teaching our children that the black kid on the next street corner who's in an opposite gang from you, he's your enemy. We have to stop this shit. Because now we're at a point where it's getting serious. They're laying us down quietly. The same enemies we had before in this country, they're doing it right on our nose. So it's either you're going to assimilate now with the rest of us that are thinking correctly, or to be like Christ said, get the hell away from us, man. Get away. We don't need you, don't want you. If you're going to continue with that activity, we're out here unaliving each other and teaching these boys, little young boys, to hate one another. Get away from us, man. Get away from us. If you want to take those gangs of yours and turn them into something useful, like militia, get your mind together, come on aboard. We need you. But we don't need you while you're in that wild state, while you're out there trying to unalive each other, terrorize the neighborhood, and do the stupid shit you do. If you don't learn nothing now, you'll never learn. And the sad part is that when the shit hits the fan and those people make that move, because where we are now, everything is just like a parched piece of paper. Parched means dry, very dry, crackly piece of paper. So if you take a match and just drop it on there, it'll ignite, fire's lit. So the racist whites and others got us black people to a point now where we're ready to explode. In the case of Nolan Wells, when they heard Nolan was missing, you had some brothers in there, man, that were ready to get down. There's a lot of more people like that feel that way. If this case don't turn out right, people ready to get down. I'm not promoting that. I'm just saying that's what it is. We can't get down if we separate it. We can't get down if we're not on one accord. This is our last chance, people. This is our last chance. Because what they want to do now, they want us to go crazy. They want us to go out there at the end of this case of Nolan Wells, whether it be for someone convicted or no one being convicted. They want us to do like this country, like we did George Floyd. You know why? Because that is the time they will declare martial law. They'll have the reason that they need to declare us once again contrabands in this country, to take away your freedom and your rights. They will lay us down in the middle of the street. It'll be bloody. The rest of us, they will re-enslave. That's what they're trying to do. Period. And they got the right man in the chair to do it now, don't they? He just released ICE. And look what ICE did. You younger brothers, man, wake up. Wake up. Wake up, man. Older people, we have a job to do. Our job is that we have to teach these kids. We have to teach them that it's not right for them to say, oh, F that history. That was yesterday. There's no more racism. This is the state that they're in. They believe this stuff. They buy it, because they don't know any better. They're trying to take black history out of the schools as we speak. So we're going to need a people from among us that will dedicate a YouTube channel, a Facebook channel, a TikTok channel, an Instagram channel, program where we can rehearse this history, and we can have thousands of people on platforms where teachers from among us and laymen alike can hold book clubs and celebrate this history of ours that they're trying to erase out of this country. This is what is being called for now. If we don't do this now, black people, your sons, your daughters, your grandchildren will be like those racist Confederates said many years ago. The black man is tied to the field, and this is the natural order set by God. Wake up, y'all. Wake up, y'all. And I'm going to leave you with something that Farrakhan said, very smart. So this doesn't apply to all whites, just to the racist ones. Farrakhan said, see, you think he's different. You think he's different. You think the offspring of the slave master is different from the slave master. He said he's no different. He's just a lot wiser now. This is where we are. He's underground, online websites where he's teaching racism, hate against black people. Creating these kids that are going out here shooting up schools and supermarkets and churches. We got to get wise, brothers and sisters. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. And if you haven't already done so, please hit the like button, support the video, hit the subscribe button, come on aboard here on this podcast, because I'm going to be dropping them back to back to back more and more and more. And I'm going to be coming with information, great books to read. I'm trying to keep my eye on this Nolan Wells case, because I'm one of those people who, no matter what the outcome will be, I'm never going to stop searching for the answers to what happened to our brother. That kid didn't deserve to leave this earth so soon the way he did. And this nose of mine been around 53 years. I smell fish, man, all over this thing. You're just much wiser now. With that, I'm out of here, brothers and sisters. Until the next time, stay safe, stay vigilant, stay healthy. Don't do nothing to hurt yourself, land yourself in prison. Always try to be better. Try and find a way to make your life better. Seek an education. On the thumbnail, if you look at the thumbnail, you see some very great guys up there. You will see Malcolm X, John Henrik Clarke, and Walter Rodney. 3 giants that were produced by black people here in America and in the Caribbean. Go to the knowledge of those men, read their works, and get in tune. For starters, Walter Rodney wrote a very great book. It's called How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. Get your hands on it, man. How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. And because he was a beacon of light, the powers that be took him out. The monsters that be killed the man because he was trying to tell people in the Caribbean and Trinidad and Tobago who look like us to stop allowing the oppressors to come in and exploit your labor, your free labor. Walter Rodney, may he rest in peace and in power. It's our ancestor. I'm out of here. Till next time. I love you all. I bid you peace.